Good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
How's Daniel?
Hey, Frank. Good morning.
Good morning. Here's Kelsey. Morning, Eric.
Good morning.
I'm just looking on here for how I can mute everybody. I'm getting ready for Monday's business meeting, and so I'm going to try Zoom this week. So it'll be a little bit different. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning, Frank.
I'm just trying to figure out how to do the mute all. Let's see. Same as system, select speaker, audio settings. Oh boy. Yeah, well, maybe I can't.
Try clicking down where it says participants, and that gives you an option on the side of your screen where it shows everybody that's there. And I can mute me or raise my hand right there, so that may be where you can mute all.
Okay, so I'm going to try muting everybody. And even if I mute everybody, you can unmute yourself. So here we go. I'm going to mute everybody. And I think everybody's muted. Awesome. That's quite a powerful tool.
Good job, Frank.
I'm going to wish I had that button back when we start doing live meetings again. I'm going to want to click that button to mute all, right? No. Or reach out and mute certain individuals.
You said it, not me.
Okay, so what time do I have? I have 9:16, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Looks like we've got about 11 people so far, so that's good. As typical, I think some more people will drift in as time goes by. Let me use this as a pause just to get rid of my tea bag, and then we will get started. So there's a little extra bonus content today because before we get started on websites, which I promised last week, so just as a kind of an advertisement, this week we're going to do websites. Next Thursday we're going to do Cloud CMA because I've had quite a few brokers ask about Cloud CMA. So we're going to get started. We're going to do websites today, Cloud CMA next Thursday. This Monday, just as a heads up to those of you that are here, is that unlike weeks past where I've done the weekly business meeting on Facebook live streaming, I'm going to attempt to do it this upcoming Monday in Zoom. And that's mainly because I feel awful alone when I'm here doing a meeting and all I get is your comments. You guys have been great about the comments, but I just feel kind of lonely here. I want input. I want people to raise their hand and be able to say, hey, I've got this question and I want to see some more of that interaction. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be trying the Zoom platform. And as my luck would have it, the day that I'm trying a new platform is the day that Lennox would like to join us. So I don't know that he necessarily has anything he wants to talk about in general. So it won't be like a typical Lennox meeting where he does the whole meeting. I'm going to do the meeting, but he's going to have some comments and stuff throughout the meeting, I'm sure. So that should be interesting and no added pressure, performance anxiety and all that, making sure that I get my Zoom in order so that Lennox doesn't think, wow, that guy's a nut. So as far as the added content for this morning goes, I'm going to be using talking a little bit about the new form. So did everybody receive the email from Andy about the new forms, the showing forms? Mary's saying no. So you have to unmute yourself if you want to chat. I started out by muting everybody, and so if you want to say something, in fact, let me unmute all. You guys are pretty. So unmute all. Okay, so I think I unmuted everybody. So how
It
come you're
came out
still?
yesterday about 7:30, Mary, from Andy Matthews.
Oh, okay. I did see something from Andy Matthews.
Yep. So look for Andy Matthews. And nonetheless, I'm going to spend a minute or so here with it as well. What the point is with it is that, and I'm trying to figure out which camera I've got going here.
I just forwarded it to you, Mary.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that went to Mary Gorman, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. Just stumbling around here a little bit. I'm trying new tools while I'm in Zoom and I've got you guys live. Just in here trying to figure out how the whole thing works. So I'd rather stumble today than Monday. So I'm just,
There's a great video that came out talking about, it was from Zoom itself, about how to, I guess, protect the room so you don't have someone inadvertently come in.
oh yeah. So there's been a lot of chat about that. Within our group, we've never had that happen. And when I say our group, I mean all the John L. Scott offices, all the John L. Scott managers.
Okay.
We've just never had that be an issue. If indeed it becomes an issue, and just kind of on the funny side, I'm almost hoping it happens. It'd be kind of interesting. I mean, what's the worst that happens? I see something I don't like and I just shut the whole meeting down. But the challenge is that if I lock it down, then you guys have to go through extra steps to become part of it. And I'm just trying to not have that happen if at all possible.
Yeah, so what I meant, so there's a series of videos that they have that you may be able to find what you're looking for.
Okay. Good. Camera. Switch bar. Okay. I'm just looking to see overlays. Oh, camera. Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I can use my cameras and my presentation stuff the way that I'm supposed to for Monday. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me just here for a second while I can only do this while I'm live, and so okay. Oh, well, I'm going to mess with it later. Maybe I can get a Zoom together with one of our staff and see what I can figure out. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you quickly today. I'm just going to pop in and show a screen real quick. This is for some of the different forms that we've got. Whiteboard. Okay, so you guys seen the visitor registration form?
Yes.
Okay, so so there are 3 forms that corporate has come out with, and the reasoning for these forms, and I know it's an extra form, and I know how much our industry loves forms, but this is to protect us and your clients. So a scenario could be you have a buyer that comes in and is showing no symptoms but has coronavirus and then later is diagnosed with it, then we have a corporate responsibility to go back, I think it's 21 days, and identify everybody that's come in contact with that person with, especially if we went out and showed them 8 houses, we would now have a responsibility to go communicate with each of those 8 sellers and let them know. And the only way we're gonna know who to communicate with is to have a good formal record of what homes have been shown. And then the other scenario might be that you show a house today and tomorrow the seller of that house becomes, is diagnosed with COVID. And so now we need to go back and inform any of the buyers that we've shown the house to, as well as any of the brokers. And so we have a social responsibility to make sure we ask some specific questions and keep certain records, because in the event that something does happen, we want to be able to go back and backtrack so that we can let people know appropriately. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it this morning, other than just to introduce you to the 3 forms. There's this showing, questionnaire, registration, and release. you're getting ready to go show a buyer. Of course, you have to do the buyer by appointment anyway, so might as well send this ahead of time. You can authentisign it to them, ask them to fill it out. It would also see, because it says here property addresses, it might be one of those things, if you're going to go out and show 4 houses today, just put all the addresses in there and only have them sign it once. So they don't necessarily have to sign one for every property they go into. Here's the visitor registration form. We're asking all visitors to register by providing the following information. So this could be on a clipboard inside your listing, and as buyers come into the property or as brokers show the property, they would fill out one of these forms. So here again, if later on the seller comes up positive with COVID, now we can backtrack and say, okay, here are all the people that have been in your house in the last 21 days, and we can notify them. And then the third form is, again, another visitor registration form. We're asking that all visitors register providing the following information. So again, just another form using these as you see fit as you interact with either buyers or sellers. I would also just say that there's kind of an offshoot to, in the past, we've asked sellers when they get ready for open houses to, gosh, I want you out of the house for an open house. I want you to turn on all the lights. I want you to turn on all the turn on a little music, open up all the drapes and the blinds. So often that's what we tell them to do before they go to work in the morning. So that way during showings, not open houses, sorry, for showings, if you know you've got a showing, doll up your house, make it look good. So we want to pay extra attention to that, because the idea is when a buyer walks through a house, we don't want them to have to touch anything. We don't want to have to turn them on or off lights. We don't want to have them open up drawers, or if you've got kind of a cool Lazy Susan deal in your pantry, have the pantry door open. If you've got a closet that's an exceptionally cool deep closet or a walk-in closet, have the door open. Have everything ready such that buyers and brokers, as they come through the home to show it, they don't need to touch anything. And then obviously, and now the sellers need to be out of the house for any showings. And then when the seller comes back, that's when you may want to provide them with a can of Clorox wipes or something. They should go through and wipe everything down just as a matter of course, because you never do know what people are going to touch just out of habit. I mean, there's no malice here. You just touch things, right? So, so I think in these times we have a little bit different of a conversation that we're having with our clients right now. So that was just kind of a quick offshoot with regards to your these forms. Any questions on the forms?
Nope.
There's a pretty lengthy, or not lengthy, probably 20 minutes or so of a video that Andy does talking about each of these forms and our responsibilities. I probably shortened it up quite a bit. So take a look at that. The forms are in that email that came out. And if you get stuck or you don't have the email or what have you, these are also, all 3 forms are also currently available under the legal library in the John O. Scott Library. Just click on the legal part of it. And at the bottom 3 forms are the forms for Washington State. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump in and get into what we're here to talk about today. So we're going to talk about websites. So everybody's seeing why consumers come to your website? Would that be a no?
No.
Okay, let me.
I see it.
Okay, good. So should be on your screen why consumers come to your website. So in coming to your websites, brokers sometimes think that the website is about them. It's about their ego. It's about them, and it's not. Everything that we do when it comes to marketing is about the client, what their needs are, what their concerns are, what they're there to see. So while a consumer might be coming to your website to learn a little bit more about you, that's not the top of the list. And these aren't necessarily in order, but the first thing that they typically are coming to your website for is to look at homes that are available to buy. So if they come to a website, and all the statistics show this, if a consumer clicks on a Google search and they click on it and they go to the site and they don't immediately see a pathway to finding the information that they're after, they click out. They call that a bounce rate. If you've got a high bounce rate, what it tells you is that consumers are coming to your site based on a search that they've done, and they're not seeing what they're coming there for. So to look at houses that are available, to find out what their home is worth, to learn about the real estate market. Let me go back up to number 2. We've got tools for that, right? We've got buy side. So if they come to your website, they should quickly be able to click on the page that has what is your home worth, and be able to put in their address, and then they can sign up for the monthly newsletter or the monthly report if they want, but they should easily be able to navigate to what it is their home worth. To learn more about the real estate market, so this is where you'll want to have some commentary in there about what's going on in today's market. Just a synopsis of or an idea of one today would be, despite the COVID concerns and the COVID lockdown, the real estate market is hot. We're still seeing a shortage of inventory. We're still seeing multiple offers on any new listing that comes on the market. So you can have a conversation like that and keep it updated, almost like a blog, update it from time to time. And then of course, John L. Scott gives you a ton of stuff that you can put up there about what's going on the market, housing updates, all the different reports that we send out. You can just populate a page with that and it'll let people know what's going on in the market. To learn about an area they're thinking of moving to. So this is why I've really been hammering over the past couple of years, become neighborhood experts and put on your website neighborhoods that you're excited about. If at a minimum, you should have your own neighborhood as a page up there. And so if you have a page for I don't know, whatever neighborhood it might be, Woods and Meadows, you click on that and now you can see pictures of the neighborhood. You can see a little write-up of what the neighborhood's about. You can see maybe how many houses are in the neighborhood, who it was built by, when they were built, local amenities, all that kind of stuff. So one of the reasons why people come to the website is, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Poulsbo. What's in Poulsbo, right? So you should have those kind of resources and links that are there. To learn about the process. So here again, a lot of what we do is educational. That's why nurses, teachers, people that have dealt with different educational, you guys do great in real estate because you are already used to taking a complex situation and turning it into something that people can digest. So learning about the process is one of the major reasons why people come to a website. Yes, they do want to get to know about you. So maybe they met you at an open house, or maybe they bumped into you, or maybe you were referred to them by a friend. So there should be some information about who you are, what makes you different from other brokers, as well as why they should work with you. And so realize that if you've got all the rest of these things, the first 5 things, you're already building up credibility about yourself. As they go through the website, they're going to say, oh my gosh, this person obviously knows what's going on. And then look for other real estate related resources. So this is where you could have the ferry schedule. You could have links to your favorite inspectors, links about how the appraisal process works, links to contractors, pest people, all the different contractors and stuff that you work with. So let me stop sharing. So did everybody see that list? I'm still not sure what you guys see and what don't see. That's what I'm not liking about this.
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah, I saw it.
Okay, cool. Good. Thank you. All right. So now let's get into the website. So first, let's do a little bit of a walkthrough of the website. So I'm going to go back to share screen. Share. Okay. So we're going to go to my desk. And well, first we're going to go to, so this is my website. And so every broker who joins John L. Scott has a website already set up. And again, one of the differences between John L. Scott and other companies is that we give you a full-fledged website that you can add stuff to, not just a web page. A web page is simply your picture, your bio, your contact information, and everything else leads into the corporate website. With yours, you have a fully functional standalone website that you can add or delete pages, you can add or delete information, you can completely build it from the ground up. Now, fortunately, when you start with John L. Scott, you are given a fully functioning John L. Scott website. What you do need to do and want to do, and I'll show you how to do that, is go in and begin to personalize it and add your photo and what have you. But what I wanted to do is just take a moment or two and go through the website and point out some of the different features. And a lot of these things I've added myself. So the first thing you see here is you see my ugly mug right here. That had to be uploaded. And I'll show you here in a few minutes where to upload that. And this background picture of Poulsbo, that's a picture that my wife took. We cropped it up a little bit. And any videos and any photos that you have in your website live in a place called the media library. And I'll show you where the media library here is in a minute, but that's where you upload all the stuff that you're going to be using within your website. Within my desk, you can set up this contact information: Frank Wilson, branch managing broker, real estate, a little art, a little science, a lot of adventure, your phone number. That's all stuff that you can put in and change as you develop. All the pages are sort of stacked, and you'll see when we get into the design, there are different boxes that you can stack and fill with different content. So this top one is a box. This one here, finding your home here is a box. This section is another box. And all of these you can populate the boxes with whatever you want to make your website look the way that you want it to. One of the things I want to point out is this little orange floating button here. This is for get your home's current value. So this goes into the buy-side program. So this is where a person can click on it. They can put in their home address. They're going to get a report. So for instance, if I put in, I'll just use my address real quick, 9330.
You missed the 8, Frank.
I'm sorry, what?
Never mind.
Okay. So as you can see, it automatically pops up. And this isn't meant to be a buy-side class, but nonetheless, the report comes up. So your client's going to get this right away. And then it's going to give them, so here it's all branded to me. If they want to receive the monthly update, they can put in their first name, last name, and email address, and now they'll get a monthly update. And then as you work through estimated home value, you can see there's a Zillow report, there's a home valuation report from Home Valuation, and then there's an eappraisal.com. Some of these I've never heard of, to be honest about it. There are probably hundreds of different programs out there that develop values for homes. Banks use them, real estate brokers use them, insurance companies use them. They're used all over, but these are just 3. And so interested in in-depth valuation report from an expert. So that's where there's a contact call out button here. What is the condition of the property? This is where the owner can claim it. So lots of great stuff here that they get instantly, and then they can get monthly reports. So that is the buy-side of things. So going back to my website, click in. So anytime you click up in the upper left-hand corner up here, you can see where my mouse is. It'll bring you back to the main page. So on my main page, we've got some call outs here: interactive map, mobile app. We've got living on Bainbridge Island. So I'm not sure why I put that on there, other than, well, of course, for those of you that are on Bainbridge Island is great, but I must have put it up for demo purposes. But you can set this up to have anything you want: sold listings in Poulsbo, active listings in Poulsbo, whatever you want. This, in this case, shows all the actives there. And then they can get into a full-fledged map search. Then, of course, down here, allow me to handpick a Kitsap broker. That's from because I'm not listing and selling, I would pick one of you guys. And then anniversary, foundation anniversary, global search. Again, this is something I had added. And then the footer, again, comes back to information about me, and all of this information I'll touch on here in a couple of minutes to talk about how to change this up, your picture and whatever information you want here. So across the top, so now I'm going horizontally across the top. These are different tabs for different pages. And while you already start off with a bunch of these, you can add or delete pages as you see fit based on what you want to put into your website. So for instance, home, we're on the home now. What is my home worth? We just saw that. Search for a home. So if a consumer clicks on that, now they can get in and actually begin the search process, which is one of the top reasons why a person would come to the website anyhow. Search for a home should be pretty prominent. You should have a place that says, hey, here's where you go if you want to search for a home. If you've got a buyer that's thinking about buying a home, there's some information about that. And here this begins to show them about the process. Selling a house, same thing, begins to teach them about the process. You get to change all of this. This picture up here, I think this is Phil McBride's old house. So they just put a picture in there. I've just never changed it. I've changed this word in here. You can add and delete stuff down here. The point here is this is where you get to personalize it a bit, so that when a consumer comes to your website, they say, wow, I kind of like this person, or this person seems very informed, or they have a lot of great information here. I think I'm going to like working with this person. So this is where you can begin to infuse some of your personality into the website. Here's one: living in Kitsap County, living in Poulsbo. This is one that I just put in there. I've got the living in Poulsbo. I've got find a home. So here's all the active listings in Poulsbo. There's a map search. I did a little write-up. Here is a video, the community spotlight. So John L. Scott paid photographers and videographers to go out to many of the communities. They did do Pullsbow. They've not done Kingston yet, to my knowledge. But this is all stuff that's there for you to plug into your website. So if you click on this, you get a little rundown on what Pullsbow is like.
Sitting on the north end of Kitsap Peninsula and surrounded by the water of Liberty Bay.
So there's so that here again just adds, here's what is your home worth. So click here for free comparative market analysis. Again, for me, another call out, another opportunity for them to go back to buy side so I can capture that information. And then I've just added these additional, out here is about me. That's something, again, you can fill in. You get to infuse your personality into this part of it for sure. Contact me about me, so that way they get to know you a little bit. Again, if they met you at an open house or something, this is a great way for them to know that you're for reals. And then contact me. So again, some more call outs where they can contact you directly. So how's everybody doing with all that?
Good.
Good. How many people do we have on now? Let's see. Oh, I gotta
Good.
looks like we've got quite a few people. Okay, so stop sharing. There we go. So yeah, so setting up your website. Now, I always have to do a little caveat with this. Your website should generate 2 or 3 transactions a year for you, which means you shouldn't spend a lot of time developing your website, designing your website. The best thing for you to do is block out a couple of hours of time, maybe not all in one sitting, maybe 30-minute increments. Block out 5 or 6 30-minute increments. Get the stuff together that you want with your website. You can certainly turn to Ryan or Shannon to help get that stuff in there if you would like. That's a service that we offer. But my point is that don't become a website designer. That's not the deal. You're not going to make a bunch of money from your website. All your website is a background resource that you can refer all your clients to so that they can stay up to date with who you are, what's going on in the market, what homes are available, and it becomes a resource. And yes, it should generate 2 or 3 transactions a year for you, but that's not going to make you or break you as a real estate professional. The number one way that you can interact or that you can advance your career is by interacting with people. And that can be in person, it can be on the phone, it can be just in naturally being out in the community when we get back to normal, you know, volunteering, doing stuff that you do on a regular basis, volunteering for different clubs and organizations, being involved in the community is the single best way to build your business. However, if you put a little bit of time into your website, now that's actually a reason to call people. Hey, I just wanted to let you know I set up a neighborhood page for everybody in your neighborhood with just information about what's going on in the area, as well as surrounding amenities. So that might be a reason for you to reach out to your clients. And then you'd want to have a link to your website in your signature block. You'd want to have it in any of your printed material. You'd want to circulate your address. As a side note, with regards to the address, for instance, mine is frankwilson.johnlscott.com. That's because my email is frankwilson@johnlscott.com. Whatever yours is, Mary, what's your email address? Mary Gorman? Did she leave? Let's see. Nope. Okay. Let's see. Daniel, what's your email address?
DanielK@johnlscott.com.
Okay. So then your Facebook page or your website page is probably danielk@johnlscott.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the point in me bringing that up is that you can go out to GoDaddy.com, and there's 2 or 3, there's probably a bunch, but you can go out and get your own domain and then direct that domain to your website. So for instance, I've had a domain for years called franklyrealestate.com. So I have a website, franklyrealestate.com. I have an email for frank@franklyrealestate.com. So you can set that up so that you can have your own domain. You could have danielcroyce.com, right? If nobody else has that. So if that's something you're interested in, there's lots of information about how to do that kind of stuff within the John L. Scott Library.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
So, so now let's get back to, let's see, I'm going to go back to share screen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with My Desk. Everything seems to start off with My Desk. So if you go to My Desk, in the upper right-hand corner, you should see a little emblem of yourself. If you drop down on that and you click Profile, this is an important page because it feeds everything. You want to put your picture up here. You want to put your name the way that you want the consumer to see it. You want your title the way you want the consumer to see it. You can put whatever tagline. This is where real estate, a little art, little science, a little adventure, a lot of adventure. This is where you get to put that information in. And as well as if you scroll down, these are the phone numbers that you can begin to make public. That's the stuff that will show up on your emails that go out in your email campaigns. It also feeds the information on your website. So make sure you go in and set up your profile. Make sure the phone numbers in there are what you want. And then in addition to that, you can go in and add any of the social media. If you've got a Facebook business page, you can put that in there. Custom links, you can add those as well. So lots of great information that this is where you control what the public sees, whether it be in the emails that you send out or on your website. So everybody good with that? Set up your profile. If you get stuck or you have trouble, let me know. It only takes, I know Donna and I worked at a day or so ago and she sent me a picture. I got it up there thanks to Ryan. He actually took out the background, so I don't know how to do that part, but nonetheless, we're here to help you get your website set up. And it's something that certainly you should get set up early. And then even if you don't touch it for a while, at least your picture's there when people show up. At least some of your basic information is there. You can worry about updating it later on. But at the very beginning, you want to at least get it set up. So again, you just go to My Desk, and in the upper right-hand corner, you click the down caret, and that's where you go to Profile. And so that allows you to make all the changes that you want to do. So now what we're going to do is we just did a walkthrough of the website. So now what I want to do is jump into, again, we're here at My Desk. And as you can see down the left-hand side, there is the media library. So I just want to take a moment and show you the media library. So it's already got some stuff pre-populated into it. You've got My Library, which is public. You've got the JLS public library, where if you click on that caret, it shows all the different stuff. And there's tons of photos. There's tons of logos. There's, just generic home photos. Well, let's see if I can find one here. Campaign photos, awards, housing forecast. Huh, well, that's exciting. Okay, so here's some stuff for the Kingston area. And then we go down here to My Photo, Frank's. So there's just some stuff there. Then there's the public library. And so this, everybody can access this. Different backgrounds. Here's photos from Bremerton. Here's Kingston photos again. Here's Poulsbo pictures. So, and basically what I did is one day, my wife's a photographer kind of gal, so she and I got in the car and we just drove around Kitsap and took a bunch of pictures. So, so these are some pictures that we put together and uploaded. Here's Poulsbo office. Let's see what's in there. Website assets. Yeah. So in any case, this is where you store all of the folders. You can add folders. You can rename folders. You can see across here. So this is where you begin to store your pictures, and your pictures can either be private or you can share them with others. You'd probably want to keep most of your pictures just on yours because you're using them. You're trying to make your website unique. So this is where you upload all your pictures. And so if nothing else, so what I always recommend is that before you even go into your website, because as soon as you go onto your computer, you're going to get lost, I promise. Instead, write down what it is you want to accomplish. Get the pictures. Oh, I think I'd like this picture. I'd like this picture. I'd like that video. Get all the stuff that you want on your website. Write down all the content you want on your website. And then from there, now sit down and say, okay, during this 30-minute block, I'm going to just add a page for a specific neighborhood. You've already set aside the content. You've already set aside the pictures, the videos, all the copy that you want to use, the words that you want to use. You've already done that. Now you block out 30 minutes and you just go on your website, and that's all you do is upload that stuff and format that stuff. But I find that if you sit down one day and block out, oh, I'm going to work on my website, and you open up the website, as soon as you look at it, you're going to get lost. You're going to start chasing rabbits down trails. Be very specific. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time in the website, and you shouldn't have to. So going back to the website now. So now, again, we're still here at the dashboard down the left-hand corner, down the left-hand side. We just looked at the media library. Right above it is the John L. Scott Library. And as I'd mentioned before, if you go in there, there's marketing, John L. Scott training, legal, exceptional homes, technology, relocation team. If you get lost with all those, just put in website design and let that spin for a minute. And you'll begin to see different resources pop up that allow you to be able to, did I click that button? Sometimes it takes a minute. There it is. So website designer, PowerPoints, there's all kinds of information here that will help you and show you through video how to work on your website. Oh my gosh, goes on and on, doesn't it? So in any case, that's in the John Scott Library. Then there's a media library. I'm on to the left again. Now we're going to go into the website designer. And so as this comes up, these are all the tools that you use to add or delete pages. One of the things that I'm going to say up front is that whenever you make a change to anything, always make sure you publish. What I've found is that it helps me when I have not only this page open, but I also open up another tab that has my website in it. So that what I'll do is I'll make changes in this platform. I'll click publish, then I'll click the other tab, click refresh, and then I'll instantly be able to see any changes that I've made. So I find that to be helpful to have both tabs open, the designer tab, and then another tab opened, another instance of my website, so that I can go through. And again, two important things. You first have to publish, and then you have to go to your page and click refresh so it picks up all your changes. So in this sort of middle column, this is where you can add a page. These are all my pages. Remember the tabs? In fact, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Okay, so you can probably see. So across the top, I've got my desk and I've got my home tab for my website. So I'm just going to be bouncing between these two tabs across the top. So if you see, these are search, what is my home worth, search for a home, buying a home, selling a home, living in Kitsap. What is my home worth, a career in real estate? All of those are right along here, aren't they? What is my home worth, search for a home, buying a home, selling a home, living in Kitsap. Those are all the tabs. So I can begin to add tabs as time goes by. Now, your first tab is your home tab. And I don't know if you remember, but if you remember, well, right here it is, right there. Here's my funky face. Here's my background. Look over here. This is where you can put in your picture. This is where you can put in a background. You simply click tab to configure, and this is where you can upload your picture. And you may want, and contact Ryan, he's really good at this. He can, if you give him a picture, he can remove the background, so it becomes what they call a transparent background, so you can see through or past yourself. This is where you can change the name and title of it. If you've received any John L. Scott awards, if you were an award recipient from 2019, you can put those in there, and those are already uploaded into the media library. So all I have to do is upload them. And so, so this is where you set up that banner. That's where you set up this section right here, is in that box. Remember I said that each page has boxes that are stacked upon each other? So that's what this is, tag to configure. Here's another, see the three little dots? Well, the three little bubbles is this right here, boom, boom, boom. So you get to stack up your website, or each page within your website, how you want yours to look. When you see a rectangle like this, it means there's nothing in there. It's an opportunity for you to add something else to that particular page. So this happens to be the home page. What is your home worth? That's a page. Search for homes, that's a whole nother. buying a home, here's that page with all that information on it. So that's how this website is constructed, where you've got a site that contains many pages, and then you go in and you look at each individual page. So as I promised, one of the things that I want to do today is show you how to add a page. So somebody throw out a neighborhood for me. Tell me a neighborhood.
Woods and Meadows.
Okay, that's an easy one. It's always my go-to as well. So now, do I want to do a page? Do I want to do a folder or a link? A link simply means if they click on it, it's going to take them away to someplace else. So for instance, if you're going to put in the ferry schedules, which I highly recommend that you put a resource in there for ferry schedules, you could have a tab at the top of your page that simply says ferry schedules. They click on it. The drawback is it may take them away from your website, and you don't want to do things that take away. In this case, I'm going to call it a page. And then once it loads, it's going to start giving me some options. What kind of page is this? So we already have some templates already set up for you, and you can go through and play with these. So far, nothing's live. Nothing that I'm doing at this point is going to show up on my public website, so I'm not hurting anything. So go in and add these different things, see what they look like, play with them. Again, you're going to be introduced to a lot of these on the videos and what have you. But in this case, I'm just going to do a blank page. We're going to build from scratch. What do we want to call this? Navigation menu title. We're going to call it Woods and Meadows. I'm going to put the same thing here, SEO page title. So this is when they do search engine optimization. That's what that means. That this is what website, or when you put words in Google, this is what it'll be looking for. And Meadows, Poulsbo, Wa. So that looks good. Would you like to include this page in the navigation menu? So in this case, yes, we want it at the top of the page. So we're going to say yes. Where in the navigation page would you like this to appear? In a folder on the top. In this case, we want it to be in the top. And a new item will be created with the following properties. And so it just confirms everything that you've done. If you don't like something that you've seen, go ahead and go back. But in this case, I'm just going to click Save. And as soon as it gets done thinking here, you're going to see towards the bottom, there's Woods and Meadows right there. Now's the time where I could, if I wanted to, go in, and I will, just for the fun of it. I'm going to publish. So remember I said step 1 is always to publish. And then step 2 is to go click on the other tab. And so now there's nothing up here, right? Nothing about Woods and Meadows. Now I'm going to click the refresh button. And there it is right there, Woods and Meadows. So right now, if I click on it, we just get ugly, right? We just get an ugly page because there's nothing there. So now let's go ahead and add to it. Now what I'd recommend is that, in fact, I'm going to go down here and turn it off for now. So see Woods and Meadows got the little thing here. I can click on it and I'm going to say visible on navigation bar. I'm going to say no right now. So I just turned it off, because as you build out, what I recommend you do is build out whatever the page you want to look like, review it, and then publish it. So now I'm going to go back to my main page. Right now you can see Woods and Meadows. I'm going to refresh and it should go away. Yep, it went away. So right now I know that the public is not seeing any ugliness. They don't see all the construction that's going on in the background. So, but now here's that page. So here's Woods and Meadows, Poulsbo, Wa. Here's the address that it would be. So just a hint, if you were farming Woods and Meadows, any marketing that you sent, you could include this address and it will take those people directly to the Woods and Meadows page. If, let's say, you had somebody who wanted to buy in Poulsbo and maybe they've got a friend that lives in Woods and Meadows and they'd like to live in Woods and Meadows too, you could send them this link and that way they can go right to the page. Now, granted, from there, they can look around the rest of your website, so you haven't lost them or anything. They're going to that page, they're going to learn all about woods and meadows, but then from there, they can go, they can see what's going on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do edit. And so this is where you've got all of these rectangles that I talked about. So now, and all I did was click, I went too fast here. So all these rectangles, remember these, we're stacking information that's going to be in your page. The top rectangle, tap to add contact. Now you've got some options. You could put an image, you could build a paragraph, you could put in a video, you can put in anything that you want. In this case, let's do an image. Now this is where your library comes into play. So let's say I want to put in posable pictures. And this obviously isn't the one, but let's say this is the picture I want to use. I can save it, and now that goes across the top. I can tap to configure. I can make sure it's, maybe I want to change it, but in this case, that looks fine. So now let's say I want to go in and I want to add a paragraph. So now I can go in and type in woods and meadows is a premier neighborhood built by, was it Chafee or Stafford? Was it Stafford?
Chafee.
Sorry?
Chafee.
Chafee, okay, can't remember. Chafee in the, when was that, the 90s?
Yeah, like 99, 98.
Yeah, yeah.
99.
In 1999. It has 532 homes of various styles, you know, and obviously this is just blah, blah. So now I'm going to save it. So now that's in there. Let's go down to this next section. Maybe I want to do featured listings. Title bar, and we want enter title bar, homes currently for sale in woods and meadows. Next. In this case, we want to just do active, or no, we want to do,
Save search.
yeah, let's do save search, choose from a save search. So this is where I would have had to have gone in and set up a save search, which if any of you guys have all done property tracker, that's essentially, so let's just say for the fun of it, that's the save search for, that I already set up for woods and meadows. So I'm gonna go click next. Do I want grid or carousel? Do grid just for the fun of it. Number of listings visible per grid at once, 6 is good. Show multiple pages, sure. Sort by low to high, great. Would you like to add some listings to the result? No. So this is where you can put in specific listings that you want to be featured. Would you like to exclude some listings? No, we just want them all. So there they are. And so that's that grid. And let's see, what else might we want to put? So here again, you can go in and play with any of these. A question that I often get is, why can't I put a YouTube video in here? And I don't know the answer to that. That just was never built in. In this case, it's video. The idea is found at the end of the video link. It looks like this. And to the best of my knowledge, it's just Vimeo right now.
Frank, right
Yeah.
next to that is the YouTube link.
Oh, is it? Let me see. Oh, wrong one. Did I miss YouTube link? Oh, there it is right there. Never mind. When we first started training on this, it was only Vimeo. So thank you for pointing that out to me. So you can do YouTube or Vimeo. That's a good thing. So, so again, one of the things I'm going to really recommend is that be careful of what you upload. If you set up a video, make sure it's your video or that you have permission to use it. Any music that's used, make sure it's your music. And what I mean by that is you can't buy a CD and then upload that CD or buy something from iTunes and use that. You cannot use that for commercial purposes. There are quite a few resources out there for non-copyrighted music. In fact, I'm using one of those in our weekly business meetings, the intro and the outro. And all you need to do is give credit, and they usually give you the snippet that they want to cut out and give credit to the artist.
Hey, Frank,
Yes.
question here about the YouTube video. So if you drove through woods and meadows or took a walking tour and videoed it, is that all okay to upload with people's cars and license plates showing and that sort of thing? Or people maybe walking on the street?
So sort of, yes. So any picture that you take from a public place, you can use. If you walk into private property in order to take a picture, you can't use that because you may not have had permission from that person. I mean, you can if you get permission, but that's a big hassle. So if you're just walking down the street in woods and meadows, you can photograph everything. However, I'd recommend you do keep people's faces out of it, and certainly keep children's faces out of it. Now, there's nothing better than having people walking down the street, capture the backs of them as they're walking down the street. That's fine. But you just don't want, you want to kind of keep faces and stuff out of these videos.
But license plates and all that is okay?
Yeah, because they're sitting out on the public road anyway.
Thank you.
Yep. So, so again, just kind of a caveat, be careful. So in any case, this is where you can add some content there. So let's see what this page looks like so far. So if you go up here to the left-hand, so we haven't published anything, right? Nothing is published. But if I go up here and click on the link, guess what? It's going to open up a page and it's going to show me, what did I just do? Let me go back. I just want to see, oh, I know. So here's what I did is I clicked up here, the upper left-hand corner that went to my website. You got to go to this one, which is for just that page. So here's that picture that I uploaded. Here's that wording, woods and meadows. Now, obviously, as you could see in the editor, when I was typing stuff in, you can increase or decrease the size of the lettering. You can choose different lettering. You can make it centered. Like this should be centered. It should be bigger. It should be much easier to read. Homes currently for sale in woods and meadows. Well, here's a bunch of listings. And again, this comes from a search that you already need to set up in your, so you go into your property tracker and set up a search just for woods and meadows. So that's where you go in and you draw the little hand around woods and meadows, and then you save that search as woods and meadows, and that's what you would import into this. And then of course down here is the bottom, the footer that we've got. So does everybody see what we did there? Built out the page. So now let's go in. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to close that tab. Going back to my website, there's nothing up there. I'm going to now go in. Let's say I think this is awesome. I love my work. I'm super impressed. I'm patting myself on the back. Now I'm going to publish. And now what this is going to do, it's going to take all that information that I just laid out. It's going to create the tab. Now I've got to refresh, remember. So I'm going to click refresh.
Do you still have it hidden though?
No, I published it.
But you still had that thing down below where you had it hidden first while you were building.
Oh, let me see. Oh, you're right. Yep, that's why it's not showing up. Good call, good call. So now I go down here and click the little button. Yes, I want it to show. Good call, Kelly.
Yeah.
You do spend sometimes wondering, why didn't it show up? Why didn't it show up? Well, because you either didn't publish or you didn't do what I just did. It's easy to do. But once you get in the rhythm, it becomes a lot easier. Okay. So now we're going to go back out here. We're going to refresh. And now there's woods and meadows. So now as a consumer comes to my website, they're going to see it. Now here's what happens. I'm surprised woods and meadows is showing up here because I've got so much content across the top. Sometimes what will happen is this will turn into, and this is a technical term, it's going to turn into a hamburger. And a hamburger is whenever you see those 3 dashes or those 3 lines, that means if you click on it, it will expand out. So if you put too many across the top, that will collapse into a hamburger, and then your consumer just needs to click on it. Or you go in and take some out. Personally, I don't want my consumer to have to click on a hamburger because not everybody knows to do that. I want my website to be as easy to navigate and as intuitive as possible. So if we click on the woods and meadows, of course, there's my brilliant website that looks so awesome and is ready for public consumption. Not. But you get the idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to turn this dude off. So that way nobody can see it.
Now remember, on an iPad or your phone, or it's going to look totally different.
Agreed. And I don't necessarily recommend, I mean, you can, but I recommend sitting down at a full-fledged desktop or a laptop that has a mouse and a larger screen. If you're trying to use a little trackpad and you're trying to use a little screen, I like having even multiple screens to be able to work through this stuff. Because you're in design now, right? You're not just in use, you're in design. So, so now I'm going to go back just to make sure, I'm going to refresh just to make sure that that's no longer part of my website. Okay, good, it's gone. So that way I won't embarrass myself. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone in, we've added a page, we've constructed or built out a page, we've published a page. What else do you guys want to see? I try not to do too much too fast because it will drive you crazy. You will get brain damage doing this stuff. But what you'll find is that once you do one page, you will get good at doing pages, and then you just kind of roll through them. And again, I can't stress enough, block out the time to do this, and it begins with outlining what it is you want to accomplish on your website. So Donna, I'll just pick on you for a moment because you're just getting started. You may want to block out 30 minutes and say, for that 30 minutes, all I'm going to do is write an about me. So how do I do that? And I know it's tough to talk about yourself. Do it in third person. Maybe ask somebody else to write it for you, or you write it and let somebody else read it. But you block out 30 or 45 minutes to just work on that part of it. You haven't put anything on the website yet. Then you block out another 30 minutes, say, okay, today I'm going to go in, I'm going to take that content that I provided earlier when I blocked out time before. I'm now going to take that content and I'm going to upload it. And so then you go into your website, you go to the About Me page, and you work your way through making those changes, just like we did now. Okay, how's everybody doing?
Thanks, Frank.
Good.
Good. Anything else you want to talk about while I've got you today? Okay, well, with that, we'll call it a wrap. Next week, we're going to do Cloud CMA.
Nice.
Yay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, guys, take care.
Thank you, Frank.
Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Bye.
Thank you, Frank.
Bye. Nice. Okay.